All right, to be continued. All right, when it gets steep, just get back behind your seat and let your tires roll. There you go. Get back behind your seat. Straight arm it. Good job. Mike, you're making this look easy, and that's not right. That's not fair. At least try and look like, you know, this is a challenge. Well, when I say get behind your seat, you want to get your weight behind your seat. I mean, you don't want a pair to be, you know, trying to couple with the seat. You want to get your weight down behind the seat so you're not ready to launch over the bars, and you want to keep your arms nice and straight. Okay, that's the time when speed is of the essence. It's absolutely imperative that you go over at speed, because if you go over one at a time, you're forcing all your weight forward. There's nothing you can do about it. And believe me, this is one of the hardest things I ever conquered, because I have a natural fear of falling. So every time I see one of these, I'm like, gah! Yeah. But I just learned on that, but then I got easier on this. Bloop, just the faster you go over one of these, go for it. Yeah. And just get behind the seat and, well, see, now I have to baby step it because I have no room to go. Okay. Yeah, see, this is all on me. He should have been up here for the last 12 years. My biggest problem was I was cheap. I was one of those guys that, you know, I thought, well, you know, I'll get him a, you know, and I didn't know that much about bikes. I really didn't. I'm not saying I know a lot now, but I know a lot more now than I did then. Thanks to Jared Morris. He's taught me so much about bicycles. And, you know, my kids had box store bikes. They had Walmart bikes that we probably paid $49, $50 for. Chinese aluminum that you leave it out one day in the rain, it turns into a rusty pile. The wheels are usually not true out of the factory. They're made of such cheap stamped steel and aluminum that the side pull brakes won't stop them for, you know, no matter what, they won't stop. You know, and I kept thinking, well, if they'll show me that they want to keep riding, if they'll show me that that they're serious, then I'll buy them a decent bike. Well, what happened? I never took them. We never rode together. And in the end, they rode crappy bikes that weren't fun to ride, that broke down on the time, they didn't perform well. So what does that do? It takes away a person's desire to ride. So, you know, if I have any advice to give young parents, buy your kids a quality bike. Go out, buy a Trek, buy a Specialized, buy a Redline BMX. You know, you don't have to have a mountain bike. You certainly don't have to buy your kid a full suspension mountain bike. They'll do very well. Heck, they'll do well on a BMX single speed bike on a trail like this. It'll be harder for them, and I recommend you keep them closer to the base. Not quite so much climbing, but get them out here. When they're 5 and 6, get them running around the block with you. when they're 7 or 8, get them on a groomed trail, nice and flat. They get a little older, put a couple of 2x4s on the lawn, make them ride over them. Teach them how to stay up in the saddle, keep them balanced, and go over obstacles. Just do it in the yard. It doesn't have to be up here. No one said, you know, you have to practice up here. You can practice technical skills. Well, that wasn't very friendly. Oh, that I tried to kick it back. It weighs more than me, which means it's a really, really heavy rock. But anyway, yeah, just get, if you do this, if you like riding, whether it's on the road or on the mountain, for gosh sakes, get your kids going. And don't be afraid to buy them a decent bike. Because you know what? You'll be able to sell it. You take care of it, you'll be able to sell it, and you'll be able to trade up. And if you have a kid behind them, put them on that one and just keep trading them up. I'm telling you, you know, my son here, he's going to be 24, and there's no excuse that, you know, this is only the second time we've ever been out riding together, because he likes this. But you know, better late than never, right? This is not a beginner course, Mike, so just so you know, this is you're doing extremely well on a fairly technical course. I know, isn't it? Even in my earlier days when I was panic-stricken half the time, I was still panic-stricken with a smile on my face. The weird thing was, though, is that none of my panic was ever justified. It was just not knowing what I was doing. Good job. Dude, that was amazing. Okay, now don't get a fat head. So one thing you want to do, Mike, is you want to have all your power going into that, because pedaling on top of an obstacle is really hard. Now, I'm just curious, did you happen to look over there?
No, I didn't. I just knew the back tire was going
Oh,
on.
okay. But you always want to, the other thing you want to do is make sure your pedals are level when you're going over the obstacle, so it won't tent pole you. I can't believe how you went over those obstacles. That was amazing. Now come spring, you'll be busier than a one-arm paper hanger. But I want to. Whoops. It doesn't count. If I didn't bleed, it's not a crash. I just had to step off because I took it. These fat tires do not go around corners. See how I blame the bike? See, that's pretty sharp, huh? What you do, Mike, is you just feather the brakes so that you're barely rolling, and you just put your weight back and just slowly just go around the corner. That bike is built for this. I mean, there's no better bike for these sharp technical turns than that bike. 29ers are just built for this. They're really fast and they're really agile. Okay, just so we have the record straight, Michael has been on Galbraith twice in his life. I've been coming up here for more than 8 years, and I'm the only one who's crashed so far.
Oh, I call it off.
That doesn't count. Of course, I mean, as I said, neither of us have crashed because we don't have any blood to show. Lady Galbraith demands her pound of flesh. We don't have to give it to her, but she tends to demand it. That was exactly perfect. But what you want to do is stay off the brake when you're coming off, because you don't want to, you just let the bike do the work. Roll. Let it roll. Because when you land, it's best to just keep moving than try and, you know, slow your roll immediately. Okay, now that was a crash, but that's because I just didn't judge the doggone. Oh, that was dumb. Man. But I got it on film, which is invaluable. No, I can't go so slow. I'm trying to go slow on this bike and you can't.